for, I guess, how would you, if you're advising people and you have two different tiers of people, someone who's got $1 million worth of crypto, and you have someone who's got $10 million worth of crypto, is there a different strategy you would use for those two types of people?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, the ones that are dealing in multiple millions of dollars, we're going to be dealing with them in a more jurisdictional point of view. We're like, what jurisdiction is going to be, your jurisdiction? They might be global citizens, like they might be just moving around different places that are more friendly as far as the taxes. And there might be other things that they have already implemented. I see that Puerto Rico, sure, yeah, that's one of them, absolutely. But you need to spend 6 months over there in Puerto Rico, and there are some people that don't want to do that. For example, in Malta, you just need to spend 1 day in Malta. So there's offshore planning that it's a whole branch of itself that you can go ahead and study and then just do that in case you want to do that. Some countries will require for you to have a presence in that country for a certain period of time. Some others won't. So the 10 million versus
that's a good one.
1 million.
If we just segue into Puerto Rico real quick while we're on it, why doesn't everyone just move to Puerto Rico? Like, why would you not do that? And then we can come back to the 1 versus 10.
Have you been to Puerto Rico?
I have, and I don't think I want to move there.
Yeah, me either. I just came back from it. I was in a couple meetings because what I was thinking to create was packages for people, right? Like all these people were so interested in Puerto Rico. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and connect with realtors, attorneys, and other accountants so I could go ahead and sell them a package where it's moving ready, right? Like I'll get your house, I'll get you paperwork, and then just give me a certain amount of money. I was like, I had that mindset when like over a year ago, maybe almost 2 years ago. And then I started connecting with people in Puerto Rico. They were all excited about it. And I'm like, okay, let's go to Puerto Rico. I go to San Juan, and then, it's nice, but then I'm like, it's hot as balls, And I had to shop for new clothes because I had jeans on. They were all stuck into my legs. I was like, okay, this is more like Georgia type of weather. All right, I can take it. I just need to change. Walking around into certain neighborhoods, it's nice. But then I go into other neighborhoods. I'm like, oh my God, this is rough. This is really rough. And in San Juan, there's an area called Las Perlas. And even then, everybody scared me to actually walk in there. And I was like, I'll just walk in there. As I'm walking, everybody's offering me drugs. Everybody's just doing all these things. And then I was talking to a cop about it. I was like, why don't you guys do anything about it? Like, that's their territory. We don't mess with them. And we just want to try to keep it safe. They were telling me all these different stories about tourists, one tourist getting killed and blah, blah, blah. And then I started asking around different towns as far as what is it, how they feel about people going in there. Then they start talking to me about El Dorado and these beautiful areas that people are moving into and the sentiment of people moving in there. And then I started finding out how Puerto Ricans hate the fact that Americans are trying to go there for do that. Now, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, you're going to do whatever you're going to do, and they're going to take it because the government is what is encouraging people to do. And that's why they have this program for people to actually move out there and incentivize the economy and bring it up. So if you want to ignore the whole sentiment factor of it, that's fine. But then I'm riding around. I did a road trip all around the island, and I was like, okay, like there's nothing really special about this place. Is it worth for me to save a few $100,000 in taxes? Or is it, even if it was $1 million, is it worth for you to give up a life where you are? If you like where you are, is it really worth it? So then you have to do the cost, the opportunity cost there. It's like, if I make this choice, I'm giving up my life over there, and then I have to spend 6 months over here. And if you don't follow that 6-month rule, then they're very strict about it, So in my opinion, I presented it to the different people in there. We went back to Puerto Rico and we saw a couple of things, and I found out that it's not for everybody. Now, some people have moved out there, but but I don't think should be pushed as much as people actually push it, because once you get there, you're like, I don't know if I want to be here.
Well,
the food is not great.
So for the people who, let's say there's people who are like, yeah, whatever, I love Puerto Rico, I'm fine living there. Maybe they have a ton of money and they're like, oh, I can get all the what are the advantages, just for people who don't know, like, wow, let's say you were okay moving there, why would you move there, like, tax wise?
Well, tax wise, I would never move to a place, just, first of all, my personal opinion, just for the tax treatment. I would go there because they treat me well in all aspects of my life, because there's security, because there's opportunity for wealth, and there's all these different things, not just because they give me good tax treatment, first of all. What was your question? I got off.
So just like why anyone would consider Puerto Rico in the first place for taxes.
So there's a 6% bracket on corporate. So if you form a corporation in Puerto Rico, they tax you at a 6%, and that's basically what you pay. So it's great. A C corp in the United States is 21%. Over there is 6%. And then you have zero capital gains. So if you're making all your living through capital gains in a KYZ exchange, then you're going to make that choice. So that's the choice: 6% and 0% tax bracket. 0% capital gains.
So that's why it's popular for like crypto millionaires to go there. Like, hey, if I go there, I can just sell my crypto, get liquidity, tax free, basically.
Yeah, but why? If you can go to Dubai and you don't have to spend time over there, it's like you do have to.
Are those the choices? Dubai and Puerto Rico. Oh God.
Malta, Cayman Islands. There's Portugal was very popular last year, but they're taking off a lot of the crypto regulation. They're increasing crypto regulation, and now it's not as attractive anymore.
Gotcha.
But there's always Salvador. Go to El Salvador, dude.
So El Salvador is super friendly to Bitcoin, but also very hot and other cultural type things. But is there tax benefits to El Salvador then?
Well, it's one of the most dangerous countries in the world.
Yep. If you know Richard Hart's backstory you can learn some lessons as well about South America. There's some good places, and there's not so great places.
I'm from Mexico. I know hood. I know and I've traveled all over the world, and I think that the United States is one of the most wonderful places to live in, with the greatest amount of opportunity. So I like to be here.
Yes, sir. I agree. I've traveled all over the world as well, and I always come back and I'm like, yeah, America's still the best place for me, for what I value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for what I value as well. People value different things. And like I said, dude, you can still live here in the United States and have things offshore. But out of the whole tax strategy spectrum, offshore, it's only a very small portion of it. There's still a lot of things that you can do within the United States to avoid paying capital gain taxes.
Yeah,